What's up, people? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Cue the
All right, Elton,
applause.
how are you doing on this?
Yahoo. I'm good, Siobhan. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we
Trying
got
out a
two of them
new.
today. I'm good.
Hmm? Okay.
I said
Yeah, trying out a.
we got two screams today.
Oh yeah, two different things. Like so. Okay. Little bit of goofiness at the beginning, so everything's good.
All good.
All right, well, let's get right into this because we're going to switch it up a little bit. Normally, we talk about a TV show first, and basically, we've been going a bit too much into detail over there. But we're going to talk about we are going to talk about television show, but we're going to actually talk about Daredevil. All right. All right. The TV show that we're going to talk about is Daredevil because basically Disney has hit the reset button and they're going to rethink how they do their TV stuff. All right. So the gist of what happened was they started filming Daredevil, right? And the strike happened. So while the strike was going on, Kevin Feige and the I guess some of the executives got a look at what they were filming, and they went, "Oh shit!"
Not good.
So first they let go of So first they got rid of the writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, and then they got rid of all the directors for the remainder of the season, and they're gonna start over. All right. So they're basically gonna keep Charlie Cox and Vincent. I cannot pronounce his name. D. The guy, like, I cannot pronounce his damn last name.
We'll call him Vincent.
So there's a guy. Yeah. Okay. There's a guy in this named Brad Winderbaum. Okay. Okay. And, I think they discuss how Disney actually does their shows because they actually don't make pilots. Like normally, like when you make a TV show, you make a pilot, and then you show the pilot to people, and they go, oh, "Okay, I like that," and I don't like it. So it's like an actual TV show. Marvel doesn't do that. So basically, they treat everything like it's a movie. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is why when you notice when you look at their shows, it's like there's a lot of like this is not that many episodes, and there's a lot of filler in this, and that's why because it's basically a movie script that they've stretched out into being
like episode formats.
episode, right?
Yeah.
But and that doesn't work, right? So all right, so say Secret Invasion. The basic premise is there's a conspiracy going on the Earth. What involves the scrolls. Nick Fury comes down to investigate it, and some shenanigans happen, and it gets like taken care of in the end. Right? It's basic as you can get.
Right.
So in order to stretch that out from because that could right no that could be that sounds like a movie. It sounds like action set pieces. There's something going on. He figures out what's going on. A bunch of stuff happens, like explosions and whatnot. And then there's a resolution, and then he goes back up to the space station with his scroll wife. Right? That's an hour and a half movie. Right. So when you have an hour and a half movie, and you're trying to turn it into 40-minute long
50-minute 40 to 50-minute long episodes. Yeah.
Right. So what do? You kill Maria Hill for no reason. What did that have to do with the story? Nothing. You introduce a bunch of characters that are you don't know who none of these people are, and they're in the end unnecessary.
Yeah, that's one way to stretch it
The
out.
British lady
for sure.
didn't add anything.
Uh-huh.
Right. So the British lady didn't add anything. You could have made the villain an actual good villain instead of trying to introduce another super scroll or whatever the hell Daenerys was wind up being in the end. And then you go look at all the other shows and it's the same shit. Oh. And yeah. And so like this dude says they're trying to marry the Marvel culture with traditional television culture. Right. And he's the head of streaming television and animation. It comes down how can we tell stories in television that honor what's so great about the source material. So
Okay, that's a good
how many
question.
shows have they
Wow,
done?
quite a
Right.
lot.
So they've had multiple shows and they didn't care about the source material up until this point. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy.
It took a
Right.
writer strike and then some for them to realize that.
No, right. It took the fact that the company is losing money hand over fist, right?
Mhm.
So and like this thing on the side is the amount of viewing minutes, which I don't know. Original Loki 5.5, 5.2, One Division 4.8. See, there's a pattern here. As it's going down, down, and down, and down. All right.
Yes.
So, right. So basically, like they've been doing TV shows the same way for what 60, 70 years.
Mhm.
And like Marvel thought that they can just do something different and it would work. Like, no, it doesn't. It's like, all right, the original Loki thing is premise is Loki, a out of time Loki finds the one of the Infinity Stones, he escapes. He finds out that there's a secret organization that is in charge of maintaining a sacred timeline. He is tasked to go find a variant of himself that is causing a problem and again solve the you got the shenanigans and whatnot, and then eventually they find him and he finds out that the guy behind the scenes is Kang and uh he's doing all of this stuff for a particular reason. That's a movie, right?
True.
So you wind up
Okay.
with a
Thanks for
yeah,
the
you wind up
summary,
with a
by the
bunch of
way.
stuff. Oh, that's basically what happened. It's like he meets a bunch
Yeah.
of variants. The he also finds out that Loki's die the same way. Like they're just basically destined to get killed by Thanos.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So yeah, well, like each variant, it they do something different at a certain time period that they're not supposed to, as opposed to the in a sacred timeline. So one of them, he was younger because he killed Thor. Then they had one where he managed to avoid Thanos and he went to another planet and he lived there for a long time until he got lonely and came back, and that's how they caught him. I'm not sure what the lady Loki reason why they her. No, but that's basically what it was. And so there's a bunch of people complaining about it. I'm like, one, none of these stories don't seem to work in like with each other in terms of its effect on the movies. Like they said they were going to. They seem to be closer to how you ever watched the Ages of Shield?
No, I didn't. Uh, I watched a few. Yeah, like the
Okay,
beginning.
so
I watched
basically
a
the
few
way that
episodes.
worked was hmm?
I watched a
All
few
right. So
episodes.
the way it worked, it was kind of okay. Okay. No, the way that it worked, it was kind of like how the Netflix stuff was, where technically they exist in the same universe and world as the movies did. But what happened in those shows from that one and to the Netflix shows, didn't have any effect whatsoever on the movies.
On the movie. Oh yeah,
Now,
it
stuff
seemed
that
like
happened in
they're
the
really
movies
separate.
affected the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then they said that that wasn't going to be the case for the like for the movies, and like this time around it was going to like play on top of each other. But when you really look at all of these shows, it's like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier basically ends how it begins. Falcon is Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
So everything in the middle was pointless. Loki is outside of the story. She-Hulk has no great effect on like no, it didn't. Moon Knight. Nobody talks about the fact that they had something at the end of Moon Knight where they were spinning the world around and doing all kind of weird stuff. Nobody
I don't remember
talks
Moon
about
Knight.
that in none of the movies. Well, yeah, it came out. I didn't watch it, but there was a scene in it where the gods were playing with the sky instead of a fast forwarding time back and forth. So you figure somebody would have noticed that. So it's like all of these were supposed to tie into the movies, and most of them don't. So
They did that like
and that's kind of why I wanted
intentionally.
to. Hmm? I
I
don't
think
know.
they wanted
I
to
think it's
tie it
more of
together, but they didn't
mhm.
know how to like make it congruous with each other.
Right. So I think it was more of a matter of incompetence.
You said it.
How to do it?
Yeah, how to do it.
Yeah. So and that is like evident if you really look at these shows, right?
Do you think they would
So,
benefit from
and I think
like
that's well,
less episodes, but like longer, or they just
no.
need better
Well,
writers?
yeah. It's like, all right. Uh, you've watched One Piece, right?
Mm-hmm. Not all of it, but like half of the
Okay.
season.
But all right, but you've watched it enough to get a gist of how the show works.
Yes, yeah.
Uh, show comes on, you know exactly why the main character is doing what he's doing. You know how they did world building in the first episode. They show you how everything works. They showed you all the
Which
quirkiness
is
and all the other
great.
stuff.
Yep.
Right. And they introduce a character. They're a mystery at first, but you know enough about them that their reasoning for being with Luffy, you understand that. And the flashbacks and all that just give further layers to their character. But they wrote the characters well enough. It's like, okay, you can see why they're doing what they're doing,
Why they do the things they
and then
do.
when they're introduced, right, and then when they introduce a new element, it's like it's more of a mystery, and that's the difference between like well written shows and not like bad shows because they have elements of mystery in these shows, but they don't. It's like they just spring it on you. It's like surprise, but we haven't done anything to tell you who this person is, why you should care, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
why when you look at like the I like these shows, that's why they are like they weren't. That's part of the reason why I kind of wanted to look at this particular. Okay, so it's like that. So and it's like hopefully they'll figure out that you got to make TV shows like TV shows. So we'll see. All right.
That is the main
Let's
part of it.
turn that. You would think, right? So hopefully they will do what they should have done and hired the guys from the Netflix shows to do this show. People like the right. You would think, but Okay, so we will let's
At
discuss
least,
Loki's
uh,
episodes 1 and 2.
at least Kevin Feige
At
is
least what?
recognizing that there's a problem, like something
How
is not
he
working.
handles that?
Exactly.
Well, yeah,
Remains to be
right. So
seen.
you can see, like, yeah, you see how the amount of people watching is getting lower and lower and lower. Keep in mind, the amount of people who are subscribed to Disney Plus was rising. So as those numbers were going
Mm,
down, the amount of people who were subscribed to this service was going up. So I mean,
that's
the
interesting.
percentage of people watching was getting less and less. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Yeah. So let's go through Loki right quick. So yeah. All right. So of the two, what did you what did you think of it?
So disclaimer, I didn't watch the first season, but I liked it. The acting was good.
Okay.
Can't say that about some of the other shows that we've been reviewing here.
Yeah.
Acting is good. I feel invested in the show so far.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a
So
little
like
confused on
confused.
what's with the terminology and who is who and some of the words that they're using, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out.
All right. Well, all right. Okay. So the little synopsis I gave you about the first episode is like this is the female Loki. All right.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So like in the comic book, she doesn't look like this. In the comic book, she looks like a female version of Loki. She is dark hair.
Oh, okay.
She's about the same size. She just is female. They went with this 90-pound chick with blonde hair, and like the you'll hear a lot of the guys on YouTube when they complain about it, and it was like they say, well, it's her show. It's like, no, she is yes, she is the catalyst for that moves the story along because they're chasing her. Just like if you watch like a Sherlock Holmes show, and I'm not saying that it's on that level, but when they're chasing Moriarty, like the bad guy, he's pushing the story along because they gotta and try to anticipate for him, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
basically that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, Loki wakes up, and it's you don't know exactly what's going on at first because it's like why is Kang's face there, and then you find out a little bit later when we have it's like there's a bunch of stuff happening. Most of this stuff is, and this is what I meant about reading that article was like none of this is necessary. It's like, okay, you find out he doesn't really find out that he's in the past until like later on in the episode when he goes back to a certain time, and then he figures out that he's in the past.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, wow, this is nice for to fill out a show. It doesn't really lend anything to the actual story. Right. So he's in the past, everything's different, and then it cuts to the present. So I with the second episode because like I watched the first one and then like I wound up watching it again. So I was like, who the hell is like? Because I don't know who this dude is because he's not real. I don't think he's in the first season.
Season. Oh,
And if
okay.
he is, he's right. I don't know who this person is, and I'm supposed to like the way they do it is he's the best hunter in at the TVA. I'm like, okay, that doesn't tell me anything.
Anything.
And then you put that right. Then you put that with like One Piece, where they kept introducing characters. They fit in the world a lot better. It's just better writing. So he's important. The
I
timeline
can
is
see
all over the
that.
place. Okay, so I see the little white one in the middle. To explain it to you, that is called the sacred timeline. Okay,
Oh,
the
okay.
reason why it's called the sacred timeline is because all these little things here and here are offshoots from the one time from it's like so think of multiple universes. Remember I was telling you how the multi-universe kind of works is that every decision is a binary decision, is a yes or a no. All right.
And it
So
goes
the way
one
that it's
way.
supposed to
Yeah.
work is that right, but the way that it's supposed to work is that each choice is made, right? You just remember the choices that line up to the particular universe that you're in.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Okay.
So think of it like this: a group of people back in BC times or whatever is looking for new fertile farmland and to set up a civilization. Right. So they go on a trip. They're running out of food. They're running out of water. All this other stuff. They get to a split. One looks a little treacherous, and other one looks it's a little easier. Right. So the way that it works is that both at the same time, a universe is created for when they go on both paths. Okay. So one path eventually leads them to fertile land and it becomes Las Vegas or whatever it is. Like it becomes a city. Okay. So the other path leads them to a desert where everybody dies. So that particular city never
Never,
exists.
never. Yeah. Okay.
Right. If Athens never existed, how would that affect? Because you got Rome and you got like, so how would the world be affected when there's no Rome? Kind of, or Greece or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
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 So that's what these like all like every person who's works there is a variant. That means that there are a person from a timeline like one of these places that does not exist anymore. So each one of these things represent the entire universe. All right,
Oh, wow. Okay.
you follow me?
Oh, variants are those that don't exist in the timeline?
Right,
Oh,
right. So
okay.
they don't exist in a timeline because the timeline that they're from, they basically what they were doing, and Kang was having them do because all right. So in the Ant Man, and at the end of Ant Man, you saw those Kangs and then you had
Mm-hmm.
Kang tell Janet and them about the other, and it was fighting. So each Kang was trying to conquer the other universes. Okay,
I
so this
see.
Kang, right? So this Kang eventually won, and so he has them every time a variant pops up and like an offshoot, he has them go there, get rid of the thing that caused the offshoot, and set up the device that eradicates that timeline. So
Oh,
they're
okay.
yeah, so they're the worst mass murderers in the history of existence.
Exactly.
Because not
Yeah.
only are they killing humans, they're killing yes, they are yes, they are killing every
Every
last being in each universe.
okay.
So you find out at the end the reason why he did this is because in his mind it was way worse when all the Kangs were fighting with each other. So he is the only Kang left. He
Okay.
killed everybody else and he is making sure that no other Kangs exist anymore.
Okay. I'm following.
So that's why when you hear Nerdrotic and the rest of them, yeah, the Nerdrotic when they're complaining about how you're getting rid of free will, I'm like, well, yeah, that's the story that they're telling. Is that this Kang decided that it's safer for everything if he did that. So that's why, like, you heard about them complaining about how the Infinity Stones don't work and all that other stuff. Yeah, because their existence is not there, so therefore they don't have any power.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So did that help a little bit?
It did actually a lot.
All right. So he's running around. They're going to a meeting. It's a meeting that so basically Mobius. All right. So this guy is like he's one of the main characters, kind of a main character. Like when those guys, like Nerdrotic and the rest of them complaining about body positive security officer, they're talking about her.
I figured.
The way they read her character, well, right. So the way they read her character in this season is actually better than it was in the first season, because the first season, her character was, you can, like, if you look at this, how the story is, that's a man's role. The way that she acted was like a man. The way it was, she was the, think of the war weary sergeant, like
That's
either
her.
sergeant in the military
Yeah.
or sergeant in on the police force. That's her. So she was not good enough to pull that off. So she comes across as kind of like a bitch. All right. I mean, that's how she came
Okay.
across. So
Fair enough.
no, but that's how it came across. So I'm like, oh, okay. So this was a guy's role. So that's, and she can't really do that. This new writers on this season. So her character doesn't act like that.
That's
Right.
good. Yeah.
So
I
you can
didn't
say
find
it's
her
because
too
she found
distracting.
out. Right. So it's better this one. It was before, it was typical girl boss type stuff where she like beating up Loki. It's like Loki is technically an Asgardian and they're super, super strong. She's just a regular human and she's beating him up. Like Loki can actually pick up cars and shit. All right. So all right. So they go to this meeting. Like, oh, Loki is, this is when he goes back to the past and he goes into the meeting room where everybody else is going to. All right. So they're going to this meeting. He goes in the past and he sees the Kang stuff all over the place. All right. So again, this meeting is pointless because like you're just introducing characters that just like they don't serve a purpose actually. Because what one of the chick and what she does gets resolved in the next episode. So it's like if her little sabotage thing was an extended period thing, like, all right, I'll give that to you. But you resolve the situation in the next episode, which is like, okay. So stupid meeting. They have a guy in there who's is asleep. I don't know why he's asleep. They never exactly say that he's asleep.
I
But
was wondering why he was asleep too.
Loki hears, right. It's like it serves zero purpose. So Loki hears a conversation between Kang and this one of the judges from the previous episode, right? Who they're looking for. Yeah. So none of this serves a purpose. So he comes in and he shows them, all right, this like, so this wall is hiding everything. So basically what you discover in all of this stuff is everything, like they've already discovered that what they've been told is lies. What they didn't know is that their minds are being erased. So that's why they don't remember him. Like when he goes into the past, they don't remember him.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got that part.
Yeah, so that's why that happened. All right. So again, they're having a conversation, yada yada yada. He's telling them what's going on. Then this is when they meet OB. All right, so OB is the guy who fixes everything, built everything, that kind of thing. Essentially, it's like what it looked like he's playing his character from the grown up from the Goonies. Right? Yeah,
Right.
that's basically who he's playing.
Yeah.
Right. So he's playing that character. So it's more exposition about what's going on, this, that, and the other, and they figured out that with the power fluctuations, Loki goes back to the past, has a conversation with him, but because he had the conversation with him, it actually writes a memory into his head. And I have seen that in a story before where it was like basically the guy was going back and forth in time and he was changing stuff in the present
In the present.
by doing it
Yeah.
in the past. Right?
Uh-huh.
Right. So which could have been interesting, but they didn't do. Well, I mean, for the most, they did kind of. Whereas like that device to pull him out of time, he told himself in the past, told Obi in the past, and he made it. All right, so that's Obi in the past. So he tells them about it. They have like they figure out what's going on with Loki, and it's like it's the same conversation. You cannot time travel in TVA. It's like, yes, you can. No, you can't. And then Loki disappears. And you go, oh, okay, maybe you can. So, dude, it's just a lot. All of this could have been like what? Could have been 10, 20, 10 minutes in a movie of the back and forth. You get the thing. You find out is that's the timelines right there. But you already knew that from the diagram in the main area of the little thing that they were in.
The war room or whatever they call it.
So this is kind of I mean, it's a cool visual, right? So this is a cool visual, but it's unnecessary. Again, back to the article about them filling stuff out. They're just showing you stuff twice. So Loki has to be pulled out of thing. The guy, though, the lady is up to something, and they're going out. So now he's in the future. He has to basically what he needs to do is prune himself. In the first season, when you got pruned and when they hit you with the little device and you disintegrate it, what they were doing, they were sending you to this spot at the end of time. All right. So that's where all the variants of Loki's and all that stuff were sent to. All the people were sent to, and it's this purple fart thing that's eating thing, destroying everything. And on the inside of that thing is where Kang lives. So that's what Kang was.
At
At the end of time.
end
So
of
that's where he was
time,
hiding
okay.
at. Right. So yeah, so a bunch of stuff happened. They figured out how to get past that illusion, and yada yada. So he puts on his space suit so that he can go out and when Loki prunes himself out of the timeline. Don't ask me because he's already been pruned, so therefore he should already be out of the timeline. I don't know why he has to do it again because he's already been pruned. So I think they might have forgot that. So he goes out into the time stuff that's melting his costume, kind of thing. Loki's in the future. He's what I'm thinking, like they gotta close the thing because something is happening with the time loom thing. So all right, Loki sees All right, so this is female Loki, right? So he sees her, okay, sees her in the future. She goes, "Oh, there you are," and then he gets pruned. What I'm thinking is the dude who, because because he's looking at her when it happens to him, and he gets pruned from behind. I think the person behind him is him. So I think he's the one who pruned himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I think that's what happened.
The pruning thing, I forgot. I know they kind of explained it, but I forgot what it is.
It when they first did it, it looked like they were disintegrating you, but they're not. Basically, what he said is that when you hit somebody with it, you're pulling them out of all timelines, and it sends them to the end of the timeline, like way at the end. It sends you to the end of the story.
Okay.
Okay. So they're off doing something. You don't know what it is, and that is the end of that particular episode. Like I said, like a lot of stuff happened, but a lot of stuff doesn't happen.
Didn't happen.
No,
I think it was like, for someone who didn't watch the first season, I felt like it was, I think they kind of explained things in a kind of a digestible format. So I wasn't totally lost. I'm trying to, I could kind of see what they, what what the characters are going for.
Because hmm And keep in mind, you also just watched Ahsoka, so anything that explains anything that probably helps out a lot. All right.
Actually, it does.
Okay. So now they showed a couple of more clips of. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna show you something in back a little bit. Uh, okay. This is riveting stuff. No, I'm trying to get to a spot. Uh, okay. It's okay. That's what I'm looking for. That's so riveting what I just did. Alrighty. Okay, why aren't you sharing that? Okay, there we go.
There.
All right. So this is the end of time, the end of the story, right? So this is Kang. Oh, this right here is Kang, and
Mhm.
Sylvia is trying to kill him. Because basically what he said is that he could predict because he knows how everything ends because he's basically seen everything. So he got to a certain point where he couldn't see any further, and that's probably because he was dead. But the way he explained it to them was, if you kill me, because I'm super old. I'm gonna be born again, and I'm gonna wind up back at this spot. So you killing me is not gonna do anything. But it also could create the multiverse again. So it's up to you. He's kind of tired of dealing with this. So he's like, I want you guys to take over and to continue doing what you're doing. Right.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, you've been killing because it's all right. So essentially what happened to her is, I think this Loki is from the sacred timeline. So his timeline still is mostly in existence. It's just that it's a different Loki kind of thing. Her timeline was completely wiped out. So basically, her entire family is
Ah,
gone.
I see.
So she has right. So she's had some anger issues with the TVA because they did that.
Yeah,
But
I
she
don't
winds
blame
up
her.
killing him, and she kicks. Look, and it's and it, right. So okay. So the story starts. This is X5, the guy with the mustache from the first episode,
Ah,
the
okay.
one who was like, yeah. So it took me a while. I'm like, because they changed how he looked a little bit, it kind of threw me. And then it's a 70s scene and whatever, right? So they're chasing him
Changed a lot.
down because right. So he looks different. And I think the biggest problem with this is that they do not tell you how much time has passed between the first episode and this. So he's been there long enough because he went back because he is back in the past. So he's been there long enough to become an actor, be starring a movie that's big enough to make him famous. So you're looking at what, a year, 2 years, 3 years, right?
Mhm.
So he's been living this particular life for a while. I have no idea how long they were like, yeah. And I know I keep I'm gonna bring it up one more time. Like One Piece, basically, you kind of have a general idea how long stuff takes for the most part. Ahsoka, you had no idea how long stuff takes, kind of thing. That's part of the reason why Ahsoka was so bad, because you have no idea. Like the distances or whatever. So this was like not very like thought out very well. So it's a chase scene again. I'm not sure because how this is resolved. A lot of this is unnecessary. So yes, it's a nice chase scene. He plays a trick on him, all that kind of stuff, and then Loki plays a trick on him, and they capture him.
It was a little long.
Right. So then they go back.
Yeah.
Right. So they go back to the TVA, and they're having a discussion. It's just like, yeah. So it went kind of long, and giving the overall story unnecessary. You just introduce a character that tells them something that you could have easily had them figure out on their own. But you're
True.
stretching this out into a show.
Goes back to the
So it's
article.
like she's kind of right. So she's kind of unnecessary. He's kind of unnecessary. I mean, like if you wrote them well and they played a bigger part in the overall in the main story, then they won't be so unnecessary. So he is trying to figure out how to fix the timeline. So again, that's why I said this could have been a movie. You could have still had OB, and he could have still been trying to figure out how to fix the problem. So that like he is a character is unnecessary. Them trying to figure this out, it's like, and then you have the dude show up who just knows how this stuff works, tells them what they needed to know, and it's like, yeah, he's the like a walking MacGuffin finder outer kind of thing. So he like this. He tells us he gives them the information that they need to know. Like he just walks up. It's like, okay, they're talking to him, kind of thing. It's not the bad cop, good cop, bad cop. He's just kind of being a dick. He gets everybody pissed off. Why she's here, don't know. She don't. She doesn't stop them from. He said she doesn't stop him from hitting him. She doesn't stop him from being all evil. Right. So they go through this whole thing for no reason. Right. And it just takes, and this goes a long way.
Interrogation.
So, right. So that goes a long time. So then they have their little discussion of the feelings and all this other stuff, right? So I see a bunch of people who they're complaining about this and like they're not acting like they're not acting right, and it's like all these feelings. So as I looked at this for the second time, you know what dawned on me? You ever seen The Wedding Crashers?
Yes.
That movie? Have you seen
Yeah.
Internship?
Yes.
Have you like all right? Tom Hiddleston is being Vince Vaughn. Think about all their conversations, how how they interact with each other, how they act about stuff. This is a scene from those movies where their little plan that they're trying to do doesn't really work out, and Vince Vaughn is like telling him to suck it up and all that stuff, and he's doubting everything and that kind of thing. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's Vince Vaughn. That's basically all of these damn movies. So whoever wrote this really liked those movies and interjected that into the Loki show. Right? I bet you if you look at it again, you will see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I figured you watch
So that's
it.
how this conversation goes. Right. So like when you watch the next episode, because that's basically what their dynamic is. It is Wedding Crashers. He's doubting the plan. He's like, but what you do find out is that Loki did everything that he did because he's a mischievous person, and he was angry at his brother and his father, so therefore he decided to conquer New York with an alien army. All right, so all of that stuff was him having a tizzy fit because he was annoyed with his family.
Right.
I'm like, okay, yeah. So I'm like, all right,
Like, oh,
that could
that's a
be
fun guy.
interesting, and that could. Well, it's like another one of the big complaints that I could be hearing is that he's making an about like a 180 too easily. It's like, well, if he's not evil, but he's more
Playful.
of like mischievous,
Yeah.
and he was just doing playful, right? So if you found out that the stuff that you're doing, while you probably think is harmless or whatever, because I'm quite sure he does not really care about the humans that much, because he's not one, and you find out that all the stuff that you're doing leads to same ending, and you wind up getting your mother, who you love very much, killed. That would probably give you a nice little cold water, thing. of reality right quick.
All right.
So I can kind of see that. Again, you don't have to like their story, but you got to go off of the story that they're trying to tell
Mm,
and
fair.
not basing it off of all the previous. Yeah. And we've already established that none of this stuff has any effect apparently on the
Movies.
movies. They don't. They say that they were, but they don't. All right. Because nobody like not once did in Secret Invasion did anybody bring up the fact that there's a celestial's hand and his head sticking out of the Indian Ocean on Earth. Nobody brings that shit up. Nobody talks about it. It's like I think that would cause an issue, but all right. So they
Apparently
have a
not.
little conversation. Yeah. So yeah, he's being Vince Vaughn. They eat a pie, back and forth, bonding. They find out that, and this is what you discovered what they need for the MacGuffin of episode 3. They need someone who originally programmed this stuff to get access to the door so that they can go and put the little thingamajigger in the thingamajigger outside to fix the stuff going on outside. So they go back to the so now they go back to this. They're gonna do the good cop bad cop thing where Loki is the bad cop, a little torture kind of thing, but not really. And they have him being evil, even though you're showing that he's not really evil. Especially given how you just told us that he did what he did
For
because he was
fun.
being mischievous and not for fun. So you get this information out because they're looking for Sylvie. Like, and he tells them essentially what they need. They find Sylvie. She's working at McDonald's in the 80s for some reason. Like, all right, whatever.
Oh, how? Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
they have a conversation.
that's right.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask like how did they end up there, but it was
Oh,
because
what are you
of
gonna ask me?
he gave her location, right? Or like where she was. The guy that
Right.
they were interrogating.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, this is something they could have right. So they could have figured this out in another way, and you didn't need that whole chase scene, none of that stuff in the beginning. So they could have just you could have edited this out where they figured out where she was at and just came here.
Yeah.
All right. So they have a conversation. She's like, "Why are you here?" Blah blah blah. It's weird that he has feelings for himself, which is a little weird. She talks shit, like she gives him shit. And this is where you find out that something else is going on because he's acting super nervous. So they go through the whole thing and they come. These people are pruning the timelines. Why they're doing this, I don't fucking know. If some people told me that we're basically a bunch of Hitlers and Nazis and whatnot, and we're wiping out trillions and trillions of people, continuing to do so at a you have the head of the people who supposedly were the benevolent beings who was in charge of this stuff are actually robots. So it's been proven to you that something is going on, right? So they have this again unnecessary fight, and they prune everything back down to the sacred timeline again. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, and the body positive sergeant there, it says that there's trillions of people,
All right. Yeah, that is a lot of people getting
and she
killed.
yells at them, right? Because you see how it looks now as opposed to how it looked before, right?
Yeah.
So she yells at them about how they screwed up, and like, I'm like, we just figured this shit out like 5 minutes after we found your ass. We went to go stop them, and there's a conversation that again, and then the episode ends. So it's like that probably could have been one episode, right? They could have condensed that down to one episode.
Some of the scenes were long. The interrogation scene
That was
it was entertaining, but it was kind of long.
right. So
Yeah,
it's like, dude, man.
like something like that you wouldn't find in the
But
films,
right.
Yeah.
Hence the article that we started with. It's like, oh, so once I read it, I'm like, oh, okay. That's why these shows are like this. It's like, alrighty, okay. All right. Oh, there is something that I would like to talk about next. That's what happens is more so for the reaction to it, kind of thing. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is not the only company that's doing this. Okay. So Netflix is trimming their animation, and so is is it Warner Brothers? It's like a bunch of them. It's like they're gonna start doing. You know how when you look at the back of some cartoons, and you'll have like a small little percentage is in America, and then everything on like when you look at the Simpsons and stuff like that, everybody's name underneath is in Korean or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
they come up with the story here, right? And then they actually go through the process of making it because making animation is expensive. So, and they go through the process of making it in another country.
Yeah.
Right. So you got a bunch of people who are complaining about, and let's see what this Variety says. Okay. Let's share this one instead. All right. So all these deals, that's basically what happened with the strike is force majeure. You know what that is?
What's come again?
Basically, what that means is we're signing a deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you are unable to put forth your side of the deal for 90 days, I can negate the deal.
Oh,
So
okay.
during the writer's strike, that's why you heard all these stuff getting canceled. All these people who had deals, it's like The Rock lost his deal. J.J. Abrams lost his deal. More like, and because of all the thing that happened, it allowed these companies to do this because we're basically at the state of everything where they need to make money, right? So, but so the thing is that that I tripped the most about it. I don't know if I can find see if I can find some comments on this because what the. All right.
That's my landline.
Is that you? Oh, what the? Oh, okay. Let's see if I can find some comments. Went back to the 80s.
Yes, landlines still exist.
Oh, okay. So it's a lot of people who are like the people who made all the stuff that came out in the last 5-10 years has been basically shit, right? And you'll have something that's decent every now and then, dude. The comments, if I can find more comments, but the comments on these things are of the amount of animators who are whining about this, right? And the amount of people who do stuff like this who have no idea how business works. Okay, it's like in their brain, it's like they thought that they can just do whatever strikes goes across their mind, and if it makes money, great. If it doesn't, we are expressing ourselves, and we're teaching the world how to be like whatever it is you're trying to teach, right? Making all your characters gay, that is fine in terms of if you want to make that movie, fine. That is a niche. They got people who would like to see that. You do not need to spend $300 million on that movie, but they were. So Netflix and the rest of these companies are like, dude, we have no money. So they're like, they're cutting jobs. It's a job without paying people who live in America, especially the ones who live in California, where everything is expensive, so therefore you have to pay them more.
Right.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting about like just the sheer amount of people who are like pulling their hair out because they can't understand what's happening. Like, I do not understand why you don't understand this. So, all right. Well, we're coming up on about an hour, so we finish it. We'll finish it out with the Mario new voice actor. Is that what you want to talk about? That?
Sure.
Because that's one of the things. You sound so excited about that. Or
my enthusiasm is beaming, or whatever you'd like to talk about.
Well, it's so much stuff where it's just not. I'm like, all right, it's just a lot of little dumb stuff like this. Okay, this is stupid. The reason why this is stupid, right, is as far as DC Comics is concerned, the only thing that sells is Batman and Batman related stuff, right? Superman doesn't sell, Wonder Woman doesn't sell, nothing else. Why in the hell would we even attempt to mess with that by race changing Batman?
See, they could do that for Spider-Man because they changed the character. It wasn't Peter Parker. It was Miles Morales, so that made a lot of sense.
That was a different universe.
It's a different
universe. Was a different universe, right? Yeah. So not only was a different universe, and there are simple facts that a lot of, and this ties into the thing that I just showed you about how they don't understand why they're being like, why is this happening? Why are we being let go? Why can't I pay my rent? Like, the reason why this is happening is because Batman is Bruce Wayne, Superman is Clark Kent, Spider-Man is Peter Parker, Captain America. Like, you get this? That's who these people are. You stick anybody else in these costumes, you're going to lose your fan base, and that's money. They're not interested in your race change people. They're not interested in your sex change people. You can push Captain Marvel as much as you want. They're not interested because you're not making a generic, a interesting character. You're just trying to shove your politics down people's throats. So I remember when this happened, when they had a future slate line, and it's gonna be this thing where it's like they had like you see how it's called like the next Batman, and they had like a trans like one of them was trans or something like that, and like so basically every character was either gay or race changed or whatever, right? All right, so here this is. So you got John Kent as Superman in the future. You got a Amazon and a Amazon from the Amazon Wonder Woman. This Green they keep making Green Lanterns, right? So they keep making Green Lanterns like it's crazy. They keep making Green Lanterns, so there's like 10 of them now. It's like insane. So every time they want to make a new whatever, they make a new Green Lantern. So this particular Green Lantern, this one right here, she figured out a how to hack into the ring, and she created her. She's the super genius person who figured out how to hack into the ring, and some that's how she got the ring or something like that. Never mind that the Owens are thousands and thousands and thousands of years more advanced than humans. They've been around for a millennia. They've it's like never mind that. So and these are the same people who can't figure out why there's the stuff that they're doing is failing. It's actually pretty amusing to watch. It's
Well, just
it
ignore
sucks
all
that people
that
losing their
stuff.
jobs, but it's amazing, and it's like they can't figure out why it's failing. It's like is it
That's the thing that's kind of amazing to me. Yeah, like they're you know it goes back to the very first thing that we talked about. Respecting the source material. My goodness.
who knew who like you get a
What
show
a
like One Piece,
concept.
and I keep bringing it up, but that respects that the well they kind of had to because the person who the guy who created One Piece had basically power to have them reshoot stuff if he didn't like it. They wanted to do a romance thing. He was like, "Nah, we're not doing that." He wanted to do they wanted to do a bunch of stuff. He was like, "No, no, nope, nope. We go redo that. No, no, we ain't
I,
doing that."
I think that's what made
And you wind up
the
with a
Super Mario Brothers movie successful too. I think Shigeru Miyamoto, he had like a direct, yes or no to to like the
yes,
script.
yes. You wanted to make
Yeah.
Peach a girl boss? No. Like there's still certain things in the movie where it's a holdout from what they were trying to do before. When she basically tells them to ignore him, ignore Mario at the beginning of the movie,
Oh
like
yeah.
when yeah, it was like, what the hell was that? Yeah, so that's just aspects of what this movie could have been.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So I'm just shocked and amazed at how they are shocked and amazed at this stuff.
Yeah. That is that's a good way of putting it. We're shocked and amazed that they're shocked and amazed.
Dude, like what they're projecting the Marvels, like hold on. Let me see if I can find this. The Marvels are projected to be the box office. All right, share this. All right, so this will be the last thing we talk about. Look at this. 72% worse than Quantum Mania. Nobody nobody likes this character. All right, so nobody likes that character. All right,
72% worse. Yikes.
right. So nobody likes her. The costume is ugly. This costume is ugly. She's a very nice. She seems to be a very nice young lady. Her character nobody likes. She's not. They're trying to make her into the next Spider-Man. It's not gonna happen. She has her character has zero association with this one, which they decided to make her have an association with this one. Her origin is stupid. She gets her powers by going through the WandaVision wall thing, where they just tell her how great she is, and she winds up getting powers that way, which is stupid, right? And they put this one in a video game about the Avengers, where you get to play as her as the catalyst for getting the Avengers together, and it's like, no. So this thing is going to open at 50 to 75 million dollars, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's just like
That's
I hope
that's
at
not good.
right. So I hope at this point
they
somebody,
realize.
and it's well, it's looking like there's a thing happening over there where it just in take over, but he's trying to get more power and to decide help decide stuff because they're the whole point of you having a corporation is to make money, and Disney is not doing that because they're trying to appease people who don't have money at the cost of losing the people who do have money. It's like you have Star Wars. They have people who will buy actual stormtrooper outfits, realistic lightsabers, and spend thousands of dollars on these things. You tell those people to piss off for a handful of people who want to who cannot not ship two straight characters in like every show. They take two straight characters and try to ship them. It's like, bro, these people don't have stop trying to appeal to these people. Go after the ones who have the money.
Oh, and the hotel too. Yikes. At Disney World.
Dude. Yeah, and like that was a bust because you made it about the sequels. Nobody liked the sequels. Well, no, I can't say nobody did. The amount of people who liked the sequels is like is very minuscule in comparison. What's I don't see if I can find this. You know, what's the name of this Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Let's see if I can find this. This is spelled terribly, but let's see if I can find a picture. There's a picture of this, of what what it was going to look like. Let's see if I don't know if I can find it. But what it was going to look like and what it wound up looking like are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can find it, but basically, yeah, I can't find a picture of it. Essentially, what it was going to look like is a giant Millennium Falcon, right? Like if you look at from above, it would have been a Millennium Falcon, and inside would have been like Tatooine, like different areas from the original, like the original movies, right? It would have been like it was no, that's not it. Is this the picture? Okay, this is not exactly what thing, but I think it is. Okay, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. All right.
Yeah.
See this right here?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it was supposed to look like. All right, so you would have had like it would have been sequels, like the prequel stuff mixed with the so it would have been Coruscant, it would have been Moss Eisley, I think Hog maybe. Dude, it like yeah, it would have that's not exactly what but yeah, it would have been basically that's what it'll kind of look like. Where it would have been a dream of the
For a Star
millions and
Wars
millions
fan.
of Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Right. So it would have been basically Star Wars land, right?
Yeah.
And at Disney. That she didn't care about those old fans. She wanted like new fans, the new fans. So it was like,
Because never mind the people that have been supporting us for the last 3 decades or more. Never mind them.
no, no. Right. So essentially, it was a similar thing to the Bud Light thing, where that lady thought that they can somehow push out the old people who like Bud Light versus mythical new ones, and that didn't then worked pretty much the exact same way. So I don't understand these companies. Hopefully that they have, like, once this fails and once when Aquaman fails, it's like, okay, we need to stop doing what we're doing. So I don't know. But that was
But
a nice
just
little walk down. What?
but before that happens, Siobhan, just remember they will be shocked and amazed that it won't work first.
Yeah, pretty much.
That will happen first.
All right. Yes.
Uh,
All right, people. We are out. So what you about to get into, Elton? I am going to make a steak.
all right. Oh, I went out for lunch, so the leftovers will be dinner.
Lazy.
Yeah, maybe a lunch the next day too. We ordered a lot.
Wow, dude. Big money grip over here.
Uh,
All right, dude. So let's end this fun stuff. All right, people out there. So whoever's enjoying our pleasant conversation, please like and subscribe and share with your friends and all that fun YouTube stuff. All right, we
like,
out.
comment, and subscribe. Bye.